The Young and the Restless spoilers a new beginning. Damian's arrival in Genoa City. When Nate finally brought Damian to Genoa City, it marked a turning point in both their lives. For Nate, it was a chance to build something new, a life far removed from the turbulence of his past. For Damian, it was a fresh start, a blank slate where he could prove his worth and leave behind whatever shadows had followed him from Los Angeles. The two men had forged an unlikely bond, rooted in shared struggles and a desire to rise above their circumstances. But starting over in Genoa City wasn't as simple as unpacking bags and exchanging handshakes. A past like Damian's didn't stay buried for long, and the whispers of Los Angeles were already catching up to him. Damian, a man of contradictions. Damian was a man of layers. To some, he exuded charm and confidence, his quick wit and disarming smile making it easy for people to like him. But beneath the surface lay a history he rarely spoke about, a history that Audra, with her ties to Los Angeles, knew all too well. He was resourceful and intelligent, traits that had helped him survive in a world that often seemed determined to chew him up and spit him out. But Damian also carried the weight of his mistakes, and they were not insignificant. His time in Los Angeles had left scars, some self-inflicted, others the result of dangerous associations. Was he running from them, or was he truly ready to change? That question lingered in the minds of those who got close to him. A family of strangers. Nate's decision to bring Damian to Genoa City wasn't without its complications. Soon after Damian's arrival, the two men met with Amy, Nate's confidant and moral compass. She was warm and welcoming, but cautious. To her, Damian was an unknown variable. She wanted to trust Nate's judgment, but she also couldn't ignore the nagging feeling that Damian might bring more trouble than he was worth. The three of them sat together in Nate's modest apartment, sharing coffee and tentative smiles. They were, for all intents and purposes, a family now, bound not by blood but by circumstance. And yet, the question loomed, how would they navigate this new dynamic? Would Damian find a way to fit into their lives, or would his presence disrupt the fragile balance they had built? Nate, ever the optimist, believed that Damian deserved a chance. He wanted to believe that people could change, that second chances weren't just wishful thinking. But even he couldn't shake the feeling that the road ahead would be anything but smooth. Audra's secrets. While Nate and Damian tried to settle into their new reality, Audra remained on the periphery, carefully avoiding Damian at every opportunity. She had been a fixture in Genoa City for some time now, known for her sharp mind and keen business instincts. But her connection to Los Angeles was a chapter she rarely spoke about, a part of her life she had deliberately left behind. The moment she saw Damian, however, it was as if that chapter had come to life again. She knew exactly who he was and what he was capable of. Their paths had crossed briefly in Los Angeles, but the impression Damian had left was indelible. Audra had seen him at his worst, tangled in schemes and alliances that left collateral damage in their wake. Now, seeing him in Genoa City, working alongside Nate, sent a chill down her spine. She couldn't let this go on. Not when Nate, someone she respected deeply, was blindly putting his trust in a man she knew to be dangerous. The confrontation. Audra tried to keep her distance, avoiding Damian in meetings and sidestepping social interactions. But her avoidance didn't go unnoticed. Nate, perceptive as ever, confronted her one afternoon after a particularly tense encounter in the office. "Why are you acting like this, Audra?" Nate asked, frustration evident in his voice. "You've been dodging Damian since the moment he got here. If there's something you know, just tell me." Audra hesitated, torn between loyalty to Nate and her reluctance to dredge up the past. But the truth was too heavy to keep hidden. She took a deep breath and began to speak. "Nate, I don't know how much you know about Damian's past," she said carefully. "But I lived in Los Angeles. I know the circles he ran in. The people he associated with, they weren't good people. And Damian, he wasn't exactly an innocent bystander." Nate frowned, his brow furrowing in disbelief. "People change, Audra. He's here now, trying to start over. Don't you think he deserves that chance? Audra's voice grew firm. Maybe he does. But you need to know what you're dealing with. Damian's not just some guy with a rough past. He's smart, yes, but he's also manipulative. If you're not careful, he'll pull you into whatever mess he's running from. Damian's next move. Unaware of Audra's revelations, Damian continued to integrate himself into Genoa City's bustling business world. He was quick to charm clients, adept at finding opportunities where others saw dead ends. On the surface, he appeared to be thriving. But beneath the polished exterior, Damian was struggling. He knew his past wouldn't stay hidden forever. And with Audra in the picture, he couldn't afford to make a single misstep. The question wasn't whether his past would catch up to him, it was when. The tipping point. Audra's warning left Nate at a crossroads. He wanted to believe in Damian, to give him the fresh start he so desperately needed. But doubt had taken root, and it grew stronger with each passing day. When Nate finally confronted Damian, the tension between them reached a breaking point. "I need the truth, Damian," Nate said, his voice steady but strained. "Whatever it is you're running from, I need to know. Because if you're lying to me, there's no coming back from that." Damian hesitated, his usual confidence faltering. For the first time, he looked vulnerable. "Nate," he began, "I've made mistakes. I won't deny that. But I'm here because I want to be better. I want to leave the past behind." Whether Nate believed him or not remained to be seen. But one thing was certain, the truth about Damian's past and its consequences would soon come to light. The delicate balance of trust, betrayal, and redemption now hangs by a thread in Genoa City. As Damian's secrets unravel, the lives of Nate, Audra, and everyone around them will be changed forever. The question remains, can Damian truly start over, or is he destined to repeat the mistakes of his past? Nate's naivety, the illusion of family. Nate had always prided himself on seeing the best in people. He believed in second chances, in the redemptive power of trust and support. It was this unwavering optimism that led him to open his life and his heart to Damian. To Nate, Damian wasn't just some distant relation, he was a brother, someone deserving of guidance and understanding. But Nate's blind faith came at a cost. Warnings from those closest to him, Devon, Audra, and even his own instincts, fell on deaf ears. Devon, ever the realist, had cautioned him, "You don't know who this guy really is, Nate. People don't just show up out of nowhere without a reason." Nate brushed it off, convinced that Damian's troubled past could be fixed with a little patience and love. It wasn't until he uncovered the truth about Damian and Amy's shared history that Nate's rose-tinted view of his half-brother began to crack. A terrifying revelation. One evening, Nate found himself alone in Damian's room, searching for answers. He hadn't planned to snoop, but the doubts gnawing at him had grown unbearable. Among Damian's belongings, Nate stumbled upon a stack of old photographs and letters, pieces of a life Damian had kept hidden. The images painted a stark picture. Damian and Amy, together, in situations that made Nate's stomach turn. They weren't just old friends, they were partners in something dark and destructive. The letters revealed more, a trail of manipulation, lies, and crimes that Nate could hardly believe. His hands trembled as he read each word, the weight of the truth crashing down on him. When Damian returned, Nate confronted him immediately. "Is this who you really are?" Nate demanded, holding up the letters. "You've lied to me about everything, haven't you? And Amy, she's part of it too, isn't she?" Damian's face darkened, his usual charm replaced by cold defiance. "You went through my stuff," he snapped. "What gives you the right?" "I have every right," Nate shot back. "I've been defending you, standing up for you, while you've been lying to me this whole time. Who are you, Damian? Are you even my brother?" The DNA standoff, the question hung in the air like a thundercloud. Nate's voice cracked as he pressed on. "I need to know, Damian. Are we really brothers? I deserve the truth." Damian's reaction was swift and unexpected. I'm not doing a DNA test, he said flatly. Nate stared at him, stunned. What? Why not? If you have nothing to hide, then prove it. Show me that we're family. But Damian refused to budge. If you don't trust me, Nate, then fine. I'll leave. But I'm not taking some stupid test to prove myself to you. Believe what you want. Nate was floored. Why are you so afraid of the truth? He asked, his voice rising. What are you hiding? If we're brothers, why wouldn't you want to confirm it? Damian's gaze hardened. You think a DNA test is going to fix everything? It doesn't matter what the results say. Either you trust me, or you don't. Clearly, you don't. Why Damian's refusal to take the DNA test wasn't just about pride, it was about control. He had spent his entire life navigating a world where trust was a weapon and vulnerability a liability. To Damian, agreeing to the test would mean ceding control of his narrative, allowing someone else to define his identity. He wasn't ready to hand that power over, not even to Nate. But there was more to it than that. Deep down, Damian feared the results. What if they revealed that he wasn't Nate's brother? That the one connection he had clung to, the one thread tying him to a semblance of family, was a lie? For Damian, the uncertainty of not knowing was safer than the finality of the truth. Nate's inner turmoil. Nate was left reeling. Damian's defiance felt like a betrayal, yet Nate couldn't ignore the small voice inside him that still wanted to believe in his brother. But was Damian really his brother, or had this entire relationship been built on a lie? Devon's words echoed in Nate's mind, "You're too trusting, Nate. Some people don't deserve the benefit of the doubt." Nate hated the idea that Devon might be right, but the evidence was piling up. Damian's refusal to take the DNA test felt like the final straw. That night, Nate confided in Amy. But instead of clarity, he found more confusion. Amy's reaction was guarded, almost defensive. She admitted to knowing Damian's past but downplayed its significance, insisting that people could change. "You're asking the wrong questions, Nate," Amy said softly. "It doesn't matter if he's your brother. What matters is whether you can trust him. And only you can decide that." The path forward. The rift between Nate and Damian grew wider with each passing day. Damian's charm, once so disarming, now felt like a mask. Nate couldn't shake the feeling that he had been manipulated, that Damian had seen his kindness as a weakness to exploit. But the question of their blood relation remained unanswered, a shadow over every interaction. Nate wanted closure, but he didn't know if he'd ever get it. Damian's refusal to take the DNA test left him trapped in limbo, unsure whether to hold on to hope or let go of the brother he thought he had. And then there was Audra. She had warned Nate from the beginning, but her motives were still unclear. Did she truly want to protect him, or was her grudge against Damian personal? The secrets of Los Angeles still loomed large, and Nate was no closer to understanding the full truth. Damian's exit? As tensions reached a breaking point, Damian began to distance himself from Nate and the life he had tried to build in Genoa City. His parting words to Nate were laced with bitterness. "You'll never understand me, Nate," he said. "You're too caught up in your perfect little world to see the bigger picture. But one day, you'll realize I was never the problem. You were." Nate was left alone, grappling with the weight of Damian's words and the uncertainty of their relationship. Was Damian truly beyond redemption, or had Nate's naivety pushed him away? And would the truth about their connection ever come to light? One thing was certain, the scars Damian had left wouldn't heal easily. For Nate, the journey toward understanding and acceptance had only just begun.